welcome to our special trial edition of the Merry Marauders adventuring group. Last time, you guys, what did you do? Good God, you rounded out Cragmaw Castle.
Yep.
You
Mhm.
found Gundren Rockseeker. You found your dwarf patron. You brought him back to health and brought him back to Phandalin, and he now is offered to pay you 25 gold each, and 1/10 the total, 10% of the total
Wasn't
price
it 20?
of 20. That's right. You rolled 20% of the total value of Wave Echo Cave, and he wants you to go and help him find his two brothers. And while you were talking to Gundren, Sheree, you had received a small obsidian statuette of a dog that you handed to your wizard friend, who identified it as a magical object. And once you
Friend
spoke
is a little strong.
password, friend's a little strong. Once you spoke the
Noted.
password,
Yikes.
the statuette became a dog that can talk
Who's a
and
dick.
is very fond of you, not the wizard, whose name is Petey. And right about then, as the wizard and Petey were getting into a little bit of a scuffle, a wizard walked into the bar along with the town master, Harbin Wester, and
Wizards.
approached the group about the untimely death of the former owner of the tavern that you now have, named Grista, who died, and supposedly, rumor has it, according to the wizard, who took Taz's spellbook and did a little magic of his own, found out that he heavily suspects that Taz was the one that in fact killed the local townsperson who owned the bar in town. And Taz, you were taken away in shackles. And
Yay!
so
Somebody's
what
gonna die.
I need to know, so where we're at, this is the sitch right now, is Sheree and Taz and Donnie. It has now been 6 days since the wizard and the town master took Taz away and locked him up. So let's start with you, Taz. Tell me what you've been doing in this cell for the past 6 days.
Well, Taz has been spending his time studying up on his spell books and preparing his master.
I have to interrupt you. Actually, that's right, because the wizard, before he hauled you off, threw the spellbook back at you. Tell me where said spellbook ended up. Because obviously they would have stripped you of your accoutrements,
accoutrements. They put me in their own garb.
your weapons, your scrolls, any sort of objects that you had on you. So, spellbook.
Spellbook. I ripped a few pages out of my spellbook and stowed them safely in a place they would not check.
Fair enough.
Gross, but okay.
Okay, that's fair.
Not surprised.
So you have a few spells. Please continue.
So I've been researching and, well, rewriting the spells. I've actually, jailhouse tattooed some of the spells to my leg.
Oh my god.
So, they can never be taken away from me.
6 days is enough time. Yeah.
Made somebody
No,
almost
fuck.
put out their copy there.
Okay. That's fair.
So, between
very
the
fair.
spells and the studying, preparing my defense.
Okay.
profusely
And now
masturbating.
Taz knows some people in town. Do you think he would have received any visitors from anyone?
There is one person that might have visited him.
this one.
Just
Nobody
one.
in the group.
Does this man give you conjugal visits?
It's a female.
Oh,
It's a female.
Sure it
You know,
is.
some of
Wink, wink,
some of
winky
my party
face.
might have
Winky
visited me.
face.
I'm sure Petey visited me to gloat.
Every
I
time.
thought it might have been our squirrel.
6
friends.
a.m. Like
6
every morning, the statuette was like shaking on Sheree's like nightstand, and it was she'd have to go fuck Petunia, throw it, boof, Petey off like a shot, runs to the jail, and just sits in front of yourself.
So we sure he's not magic if he, reverts back to that statuette form?
Every 6 hours, he reverts back to statue form.
So he is a
He is.
magical dog.
He is not. He's not magic.
Okay, fine, I'll drop it.
He's trapped.
Yeah. It's he's got a thing. So a person, an unknown person may have visited you.
Well, there's a couple people that may have visited me. The party members, our lovely hireling from the bar. He likes me, so he comes and visits every now and then.
Hagrid. Talking about
Hagrid. Yeah, or
the
hireling
young
Hagrid.
dwarf. Okay.
We've had a few private conversations.
Okay. So Hagrid probably visited you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. And then anyone else?
A woman named Halia. She came to visit me.
Okay. Who you had actually agreed to do a service for on
Yes.
behalf of the group.
Yes.
A
Without
side
telling the
quest.
group, that's awesome.
A side quest.
Yeah,
Okay.
so not on behalf of the group, but side quest. That's fine.
Well, he accepted it on behalf.
Yes.
True, but if he's going to do it on behalf of the group, he should tell the group.
It's true. Accepted, yes. Completed.
Do I
remains-
talk to her right now? Because is she here with me?
Not yet. Actually,
Perfect.
Sheree, what have you been doing for the past 6 days?
What have I been doing for the past 6 days?
Tell me, because I know you have something to tell us about your hireling.
Yeah, actually, I was going to read an excerpt from my captain's log,
Mhm.
which I thought we were starting with. So that's what I wrote it as, but oh well, that's okay. Are you ready?
Do
I'm his
it.
favorite.
I'm shivering.
Fuck you. All right. Captain's log
That's funny.
Start date.
439. Not a star date because we're not in the.
Gotcha.
Anyways.
Okay.
My contact at Falandin has proven useful by finding me a property on the cheap. During our confrontation with the Red Hands a dwarvian barkeep by the name of Grista was killed. Her son Hagrid now keeps shop as he searches for her killer. He has asked for my help from the town. He has asked for help from the town's mayor to find the dastardly fiend. Upon acquiring the property, I promised Hagrid that he may continue to run the tavern as is until the culprit is punished. I will pay him 4 gold pieces a day as his pay and upkeep of the property while I am gone. I've become quite fond of Hagrid. I hope he can have closure for this dark time.
Well written.
Thank you.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
Well
Son
done.
of a bitch.
So, Donnie, you've been doing some prep work. You have been getting ready. I'm like, maybe you don't have movies, but maybe you've like read a lot of books this past week. Books with the titles like A Few Good Men.
That's a good one. It's a good one. I
And
don't
The
know if he can
Rainmaker,
learn anything from a few good men, though.
Devil's
I mean,
Advocate.
Well,
yes.
in all honesty, I actually haven't really been reading much. I've been in a trance, a vegetative trance the last 6 days,
Good.
praying to the one, the only, the Holy Cthulhu, and letting his will bend the ways for the journey ahead.
All right. Okay. Perfect.
Side note, I'm feeling kind of blindsided.
You're blindsided. So okay, so that's what you do. So Taz, the layout of where you're at right now, it's midday, and the trials they're getting ready, and everybody's moving everything out. You're in a cell beneath the. Let's see, you guys should
Count
be on the
Master's
map.
Hall.
Yes, thank you. You're there, and you can hear chairs being set up and things being cleaned, and Petey's sitting right in front of your cell, tail just wagging happily,
Do I have
big
anything
grin.
to throw at Petey?
All that's in there is it's straw. So there's like one bedroll and a bunch of straw on the ground, and that's it. Um, the wizard that you had encountered earlier, who over the past week you found out his name is Emil Ramsey. He's put a spell in your cell that's directly centered on you called Anti-Magic Zone. So no spells can penetrate or come out of this sphere.
Okay.
And he is there as well and concentrating on you because the spell requires concentration. And every once in a while he pets Petey.
Thick as thieves.
Thick as thieves, yeah. So as you come into the trial room, so they two guards come down and they unlock your cell, and they bring you up into the main hall of the trial room, and you entral.
Oh, good. Goody.
So, as you enter the trial room, you see that there's actually several people are present. Donnie, they move you to a desk and they sit you at a desk in front of the judge's desk, and Donnie's sitting next to you, like probably still in a trance.
He's my public defender.
No, I'm awake.
Oh, okay. So he's awake.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you see sitting at the judge's table that there is a dwarf who's a paladin who's been brought in from the town of Waterdeep. And
So Donnie is his lawyer.
yes.
Okay. So I'm relating to Cal the events of what's happening. So he's updated.
You're going.
Yep.
That's awesome. I'm glad that
I got to keep our members updated.
And a side note, why your cleric is not there? Because normally in these kind of proceedings, they're seen over by paladins, clerics, people of the holy order. Your cleric has actually had a crisis of faith and is now on sabbatical, and he will return at a later date.
Fucking dwarves.
Yeah, not having a good
Obviously,
time.
because he killed one, you asshole.
Lies.
Supposedly.
Oh, it's
killed
like
one.
what goes through and pokes around, you know? Almost.
Yo, Nicholas, lower your mic.
Weird.
Um,
Gotcha.
So the dwarf is there in front of you, and seated across from you is the wizard that you had encountered before. He came up with you, Emil.
Is that a mill?
That is Emil.
Okay.
And
Who's Hala?
so present in the court is Halia, who
Halia.
who Taz had encountered earlier and accepted a side quest for. You also have Harbin Wester, the town master's there. Gundren is present. Sheree, you're obviously there. Petey has now moved into the viewer's box with you and is sitting next to you. Very excited. Very happy. Just
Wagging that tail.
can't wait. He's looking at you like, is it going to start yet? When we saw it, get this asshole out of here. So
But I need him. But wait.
Right.
Calm down, Petey.
Sheree's in tears already.
I'm confused. But wait.
Me too.
And you also have Hagrid there as well.
Okay.
And there's also a bugbear present there as well,
Oh shit.
What?
who's
Those
in
fuckers.
shackles. And
Told you we should leave no survivors.
so Barig Goodwin, the paladin dwarf that has come from Waterdeep to oversee this trial,
Wait, is
looks.
this the guy who watched the guy get his heart eaten? I'm just
Which one?
curious.
The bugbear.
The bugbear.
We'll find out.
Ah!
Oh, good.
So, Barig looks at you, Donnie, and says,
Hold
"You may
on.
go first. Do you have any witnesses?"
I move to dismiss my public defender.
Barig says, "You get what you get."
I move to dismiss my public defender.
No.
Fine. Then I
Well,
move.
okay.
I move.
You know what? Barig looks at you and says, "Are you sure you know the ways of the law?"
No, I do not. But I
Do
move.
you know your options?
What are my options?
There are 3 trials. You can have a trial by fire, a trial by water, or a trial by combat.
Do I get to choose a champion with trial by combat?
With trial by combat, you face your accuser. In this case, the investigating wizard, Emil Ramsey.
Well, I demand a champion if I am facing him because he is at such a greater level than I am. It would be unfair fight. It would be like me fighting a cockroach.
I forgot you've seen Game of Thrones. Okay.
Or dwarf.
And I also move that all
The real
dwarves,
ones.
except for the judge, leave the room because it is a racist. It's. I'm pulling the race card here because I'm a human and a dwarf was murdered and there's a human on trial, so it is unfair.
Cal is watching. Everybody. Cal is
Nice.
with us.
Is he losing it?
Sam is watching baseball, so he's watching us.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
Yay!
Hi, Cal.
Nice.
So, the Barig, the judge, looks at Emil and says, "Is this acceptable to you? Do you have anything?" Emil says, "We should probably call some witnesses."
But we should remove the dwarves, otherwise it, you know.
Well,
like
the
I
judge
s-
is a dwarf.
Well, and I specifically stated that he is unbiased because he is from a different city.
He said
So
he
I
looks at
would
you and
like
says,
Hagrid,
"Well, he says,
Gundren.
the dwarves present, besides myself in this room, have no bearing on this case."
Hagrid is a direct relative of the murdered.
Hagrid goes, "What?" Hagrid's like losing his shit at this point because he didn't understand
Destroying his life.
you. Like he hadn't put 2 and 2 together yet. So actually, in Sheree, I'll let you roleplay Hagrid because this is your saucy sauce.
So when did Taz discover that while Hagrid was visiting him while he was imprisoned, when did Taz figure this out?
That's the question. Did they even know?
Ooh.
One, no,
Oh.
because
Hagrid is at
You-
the
Sure.
hearing only just finding this out that his friend is indeed the one who
on
possibly, quote unquote,
right.
possibly
And I know
murdered his,
Hagrid is
mother.
So
So he's conflicted. Sheree, his boss, is conflicted because I wasn't there, so I didn't see
Right.
and I don't actually know.
Donnie was there.
I heard from the rumor mill that Hagrid was her son.
Oh yeah.
The rumor mill of prison.
Oh, so
Hey,
then
guards talk.
you
Loose lips sink ships.
wow. So you furthered your friendship with Hagrid, knowing
Trying to
that you
get the
murdered
good
his
card.
son.
Oh,
Oh, no.
Hey, hey.
I think he hates you a
your
little
character
extra
arc
now.
is like a character dive.
Yeah, you had him, and now you just disappointed him that much further.
You
You're
stabbed,
losing, Kyle. You're losing
then
friends.
twisted, and then twisted
Shit.
back.
Shame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who needs knives when you can have supposed fake friendships?
Oh,
Wow, it's like 3-on-1 here. That's fun.
shots fired.
So go on.
So, well, hold on. But what's Donnie doing?
Okay, so
I mean,
Hagrid is not
like-
on. Okay, so
pouring
so
glasses of water.
if this was a typical judge and jury,
Uh-huh.
Hagrid would be a character reference, not a jury, if you will. I'm assuming that the jury probably does not have dwarves on it, as that would be biased.
No
It
jury.
probably has a
Judge.
multi-race panel.
Nope.
Just
No
the
jury.
judge.
Judge.
Why is there not a jury?
Who is peer to a wizard?
Other wizards.
Yep. No other wizard.
So that would be Emil. So we all have to convince Emil
the
of
prosecutor.
the dastardly doing, even though he probably is already biased, being as he has wizardry that pointed the arrow to Taz.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Taz, Donnie, what is Donnie doing during all of this?
Shut up.
Like,
shut
'cause
up,
this
shut
is
up.
your first trial, so
Oh. That's true. It is my first trial.
first
And
trial.
the
Quite exciting.
trial.
Probably don't have a law degree.
Confusing. Here.
Uh,
No, not this vagabond.
probably looking for guidance from your dark patron.
Yes. Yes. We did have a bit of a talk in the last few days.
Oh, really? What did it? Tell me more. How did that conversation go?
Oh well, it was dark and dastardly. You know, good. The conversation with His Excellence Cthulhu was brief at times. He provided some manifestations in my mind as to where this court case could go, and also where I'm hoping it will go. And
Kill Cthulhu.
I'm kind of just waiting for an opportune moment. Tell Cthulhu.
Nice.
Kill Cthulhu.
Okay. So presently, Donnie, you're sitting at the
I am
deck next to
fucked.
Taz, and Taz is like freaking out, calling for dismissals.
Yep.
So what do you do?
Wow,
You race a car next to your.
there's a thunderstorm
house.
going on.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I was just like, I hear stuff outside, and there's actually like a thunderstorm. It's cool.
Nice.
Well, I'm gonna kind of sit here and see where this court goes for a bit. I want to kind of see how deep
Kangaroo
Tag
type.
can dig himself before we have to dig him out.
So you take
Yeah.
a sort of a lay of the land. Like, so
So-
you're not
Yeah, I'm
supposed to be like sitting back. We'll see what happens.
I mean, I'm kind of just sitting in my seat. Yeah, I'm kind of just hanging out at this
So-
moment. I want to see where we go from here.
So
Okay.
I
It
was
looks
gonna
like
say, as
Danny.
I agree, Donnie. As Shaw Ray, I'm also curious as to see where this goes
Sure.
as well, because I wasn't there, so I don't actually know. But in traveling with Taz, and also having, I mean, Hagrid is probably biased. PD, we're still going to see about that. And then there's Gundren, who has seen Taz in action as we rescued Gundren from an evil plot. So I'm very curious as to hear what Gundren's impersonation plus this bugbear's impersonation is of Taz, as opposed to just,
Pressure.
us who work with him and
Yes.
question him on a regular basis.
So is that something that
but
I have the power to do? Is to ask Gundren to come up to the stage,
Absolutely.
to the stand?
Yes.
okay.
Fantastic. 'Cause I feel like he could put on a good case for us.
So
Well, ask the
Because,
judge.
we did save him.
So you have the judge who's sitting up in front of you. Ask him. Like, as Donnie, just
Just curious,
Okay.
what other
Maybe-
magical
where are they?
or other unbeneficial traits do I have on me?
I mean,
right
you
now,
have many unbeneficial traits. We all know
you
these.
have uh,
Hush
you
you.
have anti-magic zone on you right
Okay.
now, which is, let's see, you have your PHB. That's a sphere.
Yep.
Which is a sphere, and I can't
By the
remember how
way-
many
10-yard
feet.
radius.
10-yard radius. There you go.
Wills,
Yeah.
Eric says that Donnie is super quiet on Twitch.
Which means
Oh, really?
10-yard radius or
My
10-foot
mic isn't-
radius.
It's probably feet. They always do it in feet.
Nick, is your actual microphone down? Lower
Should-
your
oh.
mic.
Might be part of it.
Oh my god.
That's
That's
yeah.
why it was
close.
all echoey.
My bad.
So
I
much-
actually upped it on OBS as well.
there
It
you
was a
go.
little bit too low.
That sounds way better.
I mean, usually the mic will pick up if it's up here. So
It was picking up. It was like, but you were like behind yourself.
So you're saying
Yeah. No, you have so. Barry, tell us. You're researching your radius of anti-magic zone.
Yep.
okay.
I see. Actually, so that would be 10 feet, 10 feet, 10 feet, 10 feet.
Donnie, we need to switch spots.
All right.
And oh well, and
I
so
hear ya.
just for reference, the wall is the line that you're standing next to. I just
Okay.
didn't draw one in. So that this
Here's the
line,
wall.
yeah, that's so you're basically right. Taz, you're up against the wall. So Donnie Hagrid looks at you and says, "What do you want to do here?"
Okay. Well, I'd like to ask the judge if I can call Hagrid to the stand.
Absolutely.
All right.
We're going to Hagrid. So, Hagrid, the son of Grista, the murdered dwarf, sort of.
Oh, I meant Gundren. That's right.
Oh.
Sherry is correct. I don't want to talk
Oh.
to Hagrid.
So
I want to talk to
Gundren's
Hagrid.
the one we rescued. I
Hagrid's like just
Oh, you want to talk
completely
to Hagrid?
distraught
I
and
want to talk
confused.
to Hagrid.
So he goes away.
okay.
Gundren comes back up. He walks up to the stand and he's
Thanks.
very confused. And the Barig, the paladin who's overseeing the case, looks at you and says, "You may proceed."
Okay. So, dear Gundren, when you first met my good friend Taz here, where were you and in what condition were you in?
Gundren says, "I was being held captive in a castle. I was on the very precipice of death. And the first time I met the wizard Taz was when you and your party rescued me."
All right. So, what was your first impression of my good friend Taz here, who helped rescue your almost dead life?
I thought he had very powerful spells, and I thought it was a little much when I was revived and taken outside by you and the wizard and the rest of your party. He actually cut the throat of a prisoner that had been taken captive and then proceeded to eat his heart. These things happened.
Gundren, can I address Gundren?
Well,
You can do whatever
Um,
you want.
I was
Gundren,
actually
go ahead, Nick. Go ahead, public defender Nick.
well.
Donnie, sorry.
Well, this is something that so my good friend Taz here, he's actually a bit more of an animal than a wizard. You can just look at him. I mean, come on. So,
At
They
least
bathe
being
cream.
a tiefling, one of my special things is I get to talk with animals here and there, and we had a bit of a talk about this person that Gundren accused had his throat slit and heart eaten. He actually was sick, and when something goes bad, you don't want to let it go to waste.
Long in
So
the
we were
tooth, I
just
believe it was.
doing the right thing by,
He was terminal.
relieving him of his pain quickly and swiftly, and then not letting any of the goodies go bad.
The giblets are the best part.
Isn't that right, Taz?
Giblets.
Yes, that is
Giblets.
true. He was, as one of his hobgoblin, now it was a bugbear associates had said, he was long in the tooth, and one could definitely assume that.
Emil stands up and says, "Your Honor, this is
Hush you.
a joke."
This is my time to talk. You'll have yours.
And Your Honor says, "Here, here, have order in the court."
Right, exactly. And Balrog looks back at you, Donnie, and says, "You may proceed, but tread lightly." There is.
Okay. So anyone who might happen upon such a scene might read it the wrong way, like my good
Friend goes.
friend Emil here. No, this guy trying to just prove us. We are heroes, and we have saved many souls. And one might
Top
think,
of
oh,
dragons.
this poor man, his throat has been slit. But no, we actually were saving him. Gundren just was unaware of that at the time.
And Gundren was in such a weakened state from, on the precipice of death. How does Gundren know?
Balrog looks at you, Donnie, and says, "Are you going to do the talking, or is your defendant?"
I've already moved to dismiss my public defender once, so I'll
He
pretty
starts
much
pounding
talk
a
when I
gavel.
please.
It's not even a
true.
gavel; it's actually his warhammer. He starts pounding it on the desk. Says, "One of you gets to speak."
I
You
moved
wizard.
to compare sizes of warhammers here in the court.
You don't have one.
No.
But he's
So,
so
I'd like to
has
ask.
it- No, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna maybe change the conversation to the next topic here with Gundren and
Well, Balrog does look at Gundren and
Ask-
say, "Were you in a weakened state?" And Gundren admittedly says, "Yes, Your Honor. I was in quite a state. I was literally on the verge of death when this group of adventurers came to my aid and rescued me." Says, "Very well," and looks at you, Donnie, and says, "You may proceed."
Okay. So, going forward, Gundren, has there been any other signs that my friend Taz here is anything less than a wonderful wizard?
Not that I've seen. The most I have had little experience with him outside of last week when you rescued me, and he did get into a fight with a talking dog. But other than that, and again, at the time, I was very weak. I don't know if the dog could actually talk, if that was me, or if that was actually the dog. The dog did appear out of thin air. So I'm feeling better, though.
I think that's all we need from you, Gundren. Thank you for your testimony at this time. And you may sit down. Unless the prosecutor has any questions.
Emil does get up, and he sort of saunters towards Gundren.
Can you
very
move on the
casually.
map where? Damn.
And and walks, and he leans over and just puts his elbow on to the rest where Gundren's sitting. Says, "Mr. Rockseeker, is the wizard in your employ?" says, no, it's not. Says, when the wizard first peeled the heart,
I object, hearsay.
the judge looks at you and says, the defendant will remain quiet for the duration of the trial.
Clearly, you don't know me.
Pounds his gavel and says, do it again.
Okay.
Casts silence on you.
Doesn't work because I'm in an anti-magic field.
It's not
Emil
about
drops the
magic.
anti-magic.
It's not about magic. I mean,
Maybe
if the
it's
judge
like
wishes
your
you to
magic
just
field.
be like, fine, if you
So
can't.
he dropped the anti-magic field.
All within
Not
about
magic,
6 seconds.
Anti-magic.
If it goes back up, it dispels silence. Read it.
So if you're gonna,
That's fine. You were silent for about 4.5 seconds.
The longest in
so you're
history
gonna
for
piss off the
Taz.
judge who wants to kill you, because that's smart, Kyle.
Shush you.
Taz,
And
as
Judge
your
looks at
boss.
you and says, keep
shush.
going.
I will
Want another
listen
one?
to Sheree.
Quiet, you.
And
now.
the Barig, this very stout dwarf, and he's decked out in very shiny, decorative plate mail, looks at you and says, you listen, young man. You mess with the bull, you'll get the horns. And
Both holes, Kyle. Both holes.
looks at Emil and says, sir, please continue. Emil continues to talk to Gundren. Nothing really comes out of it. Gundren just kind of rehashes what he had actually just previously said. And Sheree
Well-
begins waving her hand around in the air.
Sorry, Bill.
Yes.
How about prequel, not a charade? Let's make this, aside from Taz putting a magic spell around him without magic, let's let it be known that there should not be any magic coming from at least Emil to
There
try
is.
to attack Taz in any way during this proceeding. There should be a
There's
fair
not.
and righteous proceeding.
It's actually... He's
I mean,
cast-
spoken. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. I'm just saying, spoken. That
Right.
should be the
The
knowledge.
only thing that Emil has going right now is he's actually cast a spell on the center of Taz of
Okay.
anti-magic zone, which
Okay.
is a 10-foot sphere
Okay.
where spells can neither enter or exit this zone.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Just wanted to. I just saying to
Yeah.
make it fair for Taz.
and
I don't want my apprentice to be attacked. Okay.
as Sheree, you're like, excuse me. Clearly, in the law, it states Article 1, Point B.
Yes. Yes.
If you are a
Yes.
wizard, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Paperwork like starts flying out of your pack.
God, your
I am
shoes
a
in
boss.
lure.
I am an owner. Okay.
Very good
Things
with
to protect.
documentation. So nothing really comes out. Again, Gundren just rehashes what he previously said, that he's had very little experience with Taz. The few times that he has experienced him, it's almost like it balanced itself out, because you did rescue him. He did see some weird acts of violence, but at the same time, it was kind of like intimidation. He was kind of grossed out, but he was really happy you rescued him. And again, he was literally on the verge of death when you rescued. He was probably a little hazy, dehydrated, probably didn't have all of his minerals.
True,
Low
but
on
to be fair, he
electrolytes.
obviously doesn't know who took him out of the place, because it wasn't Taz. It was.
It was not.
Cal.
It was Cal who carried him out.
Yes.
That is correct. And Emil is
Dragged.
finished with him
He
as
dragged
well,
him out.
and returns to his station. And Barig looks to you, Donnie, and says, would you like to continue with character witnesses, or would your defendant like to have any other sort of trial?
What are what's the trial
Shut
by
up.
fire?
Shut up!
I just want to. I want those explained though. Trial by fire and trial by water.
You can,
Donnie.
like,
I would like an explanation of that, actually. The trial by fire and the trial by water.
okay. So Barig looks at you, Donnie, and says, your defendant who can speak through you
Bullshit.
can choose a trial by fire, in which case he must walk through 10 yards of fire without being burned.
Damn
With
it.
no magic.
Or, if he
Shut
chooses trial by water, we will take his left hand and tie it to his right ankle. Then we will take his right hand and tie it to his left ankle. We will place him in a river. If he floats, he's guilty. If he sinks, he's innocent.
And dead.
You
That
just
is
gotta get
neither
yourself
here
to
nor
float
there.
down the river.
Or your defendant may choose trial by combat and face his accuser, which again is the wizard Emil.
Wouldn't it be the mayor? Because Emil is.
No, because Emil's
So
the one that.
Okay, fine.
Go ahead,
so
Donnie.
if we were to have Taz confront Emil, would it be in the courtroom, or is there a special area that the combat
So-
is taking place in?
Are
It
we
can be-
discussing like he's actually guilty? Because I don't know if we've actually proven that he's guilty.
No. We can go through the trial
have.
or the two farces of, walking through fire or
I'm just
drowning.
curious because
Baric.
as
So, are you
Charest,
like- and
I
you're like, excuse me, sir, your honor.
are
So,
we saying that he's guilty? Because I have yet to see proven.
and Baric
he's
looks at
guilty.
you, he's like, excuse me, half orc. Who are you?
His boss,
Who's boss?
Taz's boss, as well as Higren's boss, and owner of the tavern of which the dear beloved Grista was murdered. So I would like to see more evidence either way.
Your employee is innocent until proven guilty.
Yes.
The
so why are we
means of
discussing?
his trial
Okay.
to prove whether he's guilty or not, he has options. If he chooses trial by combat, if he survives, he's innocent. If he dies, he's guilty.
So we're not going to interview more people
We
to
can.
If you would like to
discuss
choose
the
character
events. Do we
witnesses-
have anybody who happens to be there come
I
forward
actually
and say for
do
sure?
have. I have two surprise witnesses.
do it.
I'd like to call
Bart
to the
said, "By all means."
stage.
Who?
Okay. Badger, can you please come to the stand? Badger.
Who the
Oh, did you
fuck
forget
is
about Badger and Boar?
You hear something scurrying.
My
So
furballs.
behind you, you hear the door creak open slightly, and you hear the claws on the wood flooring. And I grab, and a tiny badger runs up the lane and into the witness stand.
I would love to see where this is going. I look at Donnie and say, it's like, okay, all right, I'll sit here and play this one out.
Good. All right. So before I continue, I'd like to ask the court if there are any other persons or creatures out there that speak animal talk.
No. There's not.
Wow, how unfortunate. I guess I'm the only one that can relay what these animals want to share with the court. Weird.
That's fair.
Well,
Barig looks at you and says, "This is a little unorthodox. I'm going to need some proof that you can actually communicate with these animals." And Barig looks at you and says, "Tell the badger to roll over towards the right."
his rudder.
I think of it, and the badger rolls over to the right.
Says,
It's a
tell the badger
telepathic connection.
stand up on his hind legs.
Badger sits. The badger sits down,
Barrick says,
and then
we're good.
he stands up and stands on his hind legs.
Nice. And so Barrick looks at you and says, you may proceed.
So, Badger, we have been friends for a short while, or more or less associates. In our journeys together, what could you tell me about my good friend Taz here? Is he a good wizard or an evil wizard? You can tap on the bench once for good and twice for no. He taps once.
Fair enough. Meanwhile, Donnie's just going, just tap once. Just don't pay attention, just tap once.
His name is Taserface.
Take your face. Okay.
Now, in our adventures, we came across this deserted castle, which happened to be full of lots of baddies. We had bugbears and all sorts of just not good things. And it had these come to the town or any nearby villages, some serious harm could have been done. Badger, would you argue with me over that? Badger knocks twice.
Yep.
So, Your Honor, we have another witness here that has clearly shown that my friend Taz here comes here with good faith. And although his ways might be misconstrued and off kilter, he isn't here to fight you unless you challenge him like you have been specifically. It's not his fault. It's just the way he was born on the streets. Thank you, Badger. You can take a seat now if you'd like.
Yep. And so Badger scurries off the top, runs down. Hear a bunch of little squeaks as he runs by. Looks like dead eyes at you, Taz. And Barry looks at you and says, would you like to proceed?
Yes, I'd like to call Boar to the stand, please.
Nice. So, giant boar comes. Sits down in the stand. Looks at you.
So, Boar,
inquisitively.
you and Badger ventured with Taz together, and I'd like to ask you the same question. Do you think Taz is a good wizard or a bad wizard? You can kick your back foot once for good and your front to put him up in the air for no.
Kicks out his back foot. Yeah.
Kicks out his back foot. Now, I think that's all I need from you, Bor. I just wanted to rest my case. So, Bor goes, takes a seat.
Uh-huh.
We have animals and humans alike that both have had good treatment and adventures with my crazy wizard friend here, and I just want that to be known. No.
Barg looks at you and says, well done. I will consider your case. Do you have anything more to provide?
Let me go through my notes here real quick.
Okay. In the meantime, he looks over and says, Sir, Emile, do you have anyone to call? And Emile says, yes, Your Honor. I call Targor Bloodsword to the stand, please. And you see this big hobgoblin come wandering up. and he's in shackles. You recognize him from before. You'd met him outside of Cragmaw Castle. And Emil says, "Sir, where were you apprehended?" And he says, "Outside my castle."
I object.
Horns, keep it shut.
I still object. He's biased.
He sends over 2 guards, and they wrap your mouth with cotton. um, and says, "Where were you apprehended, sir?" He says, "I was apprehended in my castle." Says, "Your castle?" Says, "Yes." Says, "Were you not a war leader?" Says, "I was, until the adventures. Met my previous employer." And he said, "Can you describe how you came upon these people?" And he said, "We were returning from a war party where I saw them eating the heart of my previous employer." And Emil's like clearly disgusted by this. He's like, ate the heart? The heart. He said, "It's a tradition." He said, "A tradition?" He said, "Well, you gain the power of the heart you eat." He said, "So when you encountered this party, did they attack you?" "No, they let me go on my way. That lovely half-orc woman there was co-working with us and gave me free reign of the castle after she killed my previous master." And Emil's like flustered. He is pissed at this point. Tells him to get off the stand. And you see Targor shuffle down. Barrick looks at him and says, "Do you have anything else? Do you have any other witnesses that you would like to call?" And he says, "Yes, I call the dog Petey to the stand." And you see Petey walk up, and it's just tail, just looks. Oh, as he's passing by you, Taz, look, like pauses, like mid-step, and then gives a wink, and then goes up to the stand. Emil looks at Petey and says, "Sir, you were known as Petunia." He says, "My name's Petey, not Petunia." He says, "I'm sorry." "Petey, how long have you known the wizard, Regranan?" He says, "I've only known him for a week, and he's an asshole." Says, "How did you first meet him?" He said, "Well, I got a new mistress. She's a lovely lady, and she lets me out every day." He said, "Well, she lets you out? You mean are you outside?" He said, "No, I'm a statue." "You're a what?" "I'm a statue. A statuette. A figurine. Hold my bullocks. Don't you know what I'm saying?" Kind of confused. He says, "So she releases you every day. Where do you go?" He said, "Well, I go down to see that asshole in his cell." The judge is kind of getting a little annoyed. And Emil says, "When you're in the cell, what do you do?" "Well, mostly I gloat in front of that piece of shit." "And
That's
I just
hilarious.
sit there and I bring a bone down. I eat it. He eats smaller bones because they don't give him no food. And then I bring down a bowl. I bounce it against the wall and play catch with myself. And then I go out and I bring toys. I play with them. I roll. And then I just sit there and watch him cry." Yes. The judge can see you making a bunch of arm motions, Taz, and like you want to say something, and looks at you, Donnie, and Bardig says, clearly your client wants to say something. Please remove his gags." And so Donnie removes your gags.
I'd like to move for a mistrial because of the ill treatment of the wizard. He was not offered food nor water for 6 days.
Bard looks at you and says, "Sir, you're on trial for murder. You know where
And
you
I'm
live.
innocent
You know
until
the time.
proven guilty.
I'm sure they provided you with whatever provisions
You've
you
heard it from the
required."
dog himself that
And Petey looks over at you and says, "Fuck off."
you've heard it from the rude, hapless dog himself that I was intentionally starved, and it would seem that the hopes of the court that I will just plead guilty for, some food, a last meal perhaps.
Uh, he looks at you and says, "Sir, please let us continue.
Can I at
You'll
least
have your chance to cross-examine the
can I please have some food? I'm actually really hungry.
We would love to bring you some food, but unfortunately, given that we're in the middle of a trial, this is not a restaurant. This is not a diner, sir. This is not an inn.
But how can you expect me to be at full faculties if I've been half starved?
Sir, if we let you be at full faculties, I'm sure we would all be on fire.
It is very true.
Guilty! No. But the
Nice.
judge looks back at Emil and says, "Please, sir, continue with
At least
the-
a beer, Your Honor.
examination."
At least a beer.
And Emil looks at Petey again and says, other than the time that you spend in his cell every day, or across from his cell every day, what was your other encounters with the Wizard Regranan?" And Petey said, "Well, I only met him before you lot took him off. So, really, that's all I've been doing." He goes, "Really? That's all you do?" She said, "Oh, yeah. I can't take this shit heel from the moment I laid eyes on him." And Emil's like, I have no further questions. And Emil looks at you, Donnie, and says, "If you would like, you may cross-examine the
I
witness."
would like to cross-examine the witness.
The judge says, "Do you want the
I
gag?"
would like to cross-examine.
Go for it.
I would like to cross-examine Petey.
Yep.
So, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?
I am. I'm always a good boy.
All right. Tell you what, Petey, I'll be sure to find you a bone after this. This is all
I
over.
like you.
I thought you might.
Everybody hates
See-
the wizard.
Animal friendship is so good.
Right.
So I just wanted to stress again, Petey, you have known the witness here for less than a week. Is that correct?
That's right.
And the time that you spend with him, I wouldn't really call quality time, would you? Unless you call quality time,
Torturing
I like
him.
the quality of the way his leg tastes. Like salt and dirt. I like biting him.
And at the time he
He's a
bit
quality
me, I
chew
had
toy.
been covered in shit and blood too.
It's true.
Mm.
So, just
He,
sounds pretty
he
good.
is a dog,
he should
albeit
love me.
very large dog.
So, Petey, if you were happen to meet this wizard on the street, and he offered to buy you a beer at the local pub, sit down, share a story, is that someone you would sit down and have a beer and maybe lick?
Well, that depends. Would he be covered in shit?
He's always covered in shit.
I don't like his smell. It's offensive to my
Okay.
sensitive nose.
Sir, you should smell me when I'm not covered in shit, and it would be really offensive. I'm a hobo.
It's his lifestyle.
This is lifestyle.
Can't change the hobo life.
Right. The hobo life chose me.
He'll cut you up with a hobo knife.
Objection. Speculation.
Petey said, I never really accept a pint from someone I don't know.
Fair enough. Well,
I whispered to Donnie that dog is really stuck up. This is going nowhere.
Well, I feel like I don't really have many other questions to ask, Petey. I mean, it sounds like you haven't known my client for very long, and you haven't really shared much with him.
Other
So
than
I
biting
really
you.
don't see what the what my friend Emil here has going for him here. He comes into this courtroom claiming that my friend Taz here is this maniacal butcher of a wizard, killing bartenders. I see no evidence for any of this, Your Honor, and all the witnesses so far in this case have seen him as an exemplary citizen, or at least someone who they'd like to chew on. That's it. I'm gonna take a seat.
Petey steps down as he's walking by the desk, and he's like locking eyes with you, Sheree, because you are his master. He's hoping that he's like, hoping that he's pleased you.
I tell
Of
I tell
course.
Petey that he's a good boy.
And Petey,
Good dog.
as he's walking by, he goes, "Fuck you."
And I'll be like,
Boy.
good boy, Petey. It's okay. Dragon Bone free later. Dragon Bone free later.
Dragon Bone.
Dragon
Not
Bone.
I do good.
You did good, Petey. Dragon Bone.
So good.
Emil is very frustrated, and is there anyone else that you would like to call? Emil is he's out of witnesses, and
What?
yeah,
Oh, how'd
There's
that happen?
no other witnesses.
I would like to call Sheree to the stand, please.
Oh. Sheree takes the stand.
Shit.
So, Sheree, how long have you known Donnie for? Or I'm sorry, Taz. I'm Donnie.
It's a good question, guys. How long have we known each other?
In game, I
of
think
months now?
you're
Couple weeks.
looking.
7,
It's weeks. Let's see. So 6 days. So you're about
7, 8 weeks in.
yeah,
So a
but
couple
some of
months.
them were days. Couple months.
Okay, so I've known my apprentice a couple of months.
Well, and actually, backstory, like official canon wise, you actually the first time you met him was when you were still a sailor,
Yeah, yeah.
because he was on the docks.
was working the docks.
In Neverwinter, he was working the docks, and that's how you knew him. So you've actually known him for a long time.
Hooking,
Well, thanks for letting me know, guys. That's awesome.
hooking.
Yeah.
In his underground wizard fights.
You know, fishing, not like straight.
So how long
walking.
ago was that?
Couple years.
Couple years.
Okay, so I've somewhat known him for a couple of years.
She used to watch
Okay.
me fight other wizards.
So, would you put this man on trial here behind bars if you were the judge,
Yes.
or do you think he? Oh. Oh. Well,
And the wind
I
out
would
of my
like-
sails.
I would like
Nothing against
to
him
hear a bit more.
at all. It's not
About-
an evil
about-
judgment,
about
but yes,
that.
I would.
Thanks. You should meet my son. He's a peach.
Sorry.
So, I was kind of curious. This sphere that Kyle's in,
Yeah.
like, there's no magic that can really get into it. Is that
Enter
correct?
or out. Right. And you're in it too now.
Enter.
Yeah, because you're within.
Because
10
if you're
feet.
there,
And that's why he moved Emil to the far corner away from me, like a dick.
So, if I'm in the bubble with him,
Which means you can also.
does
do
that mean that we
magic
can
out.
cast spells?
At each other. No.
Do
no.
what?
So yeah, I mean, quick question though. So like, if I cast like a minor illusion,
You would have to
would
step
others
out.
see it?
You would have to step
Oh, okay.
outside, like there. You would
Okay.
have to be- Yeah. And yes, if you cast a minor illusion, everyone would
That's
see
only
it. Fucking minor illusions.
gotcha.
Cthulhu comes and tramples the town.
What?
Oh my
What-
god!
Or did he?
Yeah.
Well, Sheree,
You're really not
Would
helping
you-
me.
would
where I
you-
want to go.
Yeah, what would you say about his wizard abilities? Like as an apprentice, you've had him as an apprentice for a few years.
No,
Obviously, you wouldn't
only
keep him
recently.
around if he
Known him
wasn't.
for a few years. Apprentice for like 2 months. She's known him for
Oh,
a few
okay,
years.
gotcha.
Only has been her apprentice for a couple months.
Okay, so I imagine surely you wouldn't take on someone to apprenticeship if you didn't have some faith in them, though, right?
This is very true.
He's bringing up a fair point.
Despite some questionable actions that I've seen from him for the past couple months, if not the past couple years, he seems to be a very uncouth, lost individual, unhinged, and thus the heart eating that I saw previously at that one time, since I was there, was a bit strange to me. But I am also not accustomed to his wizarding ways, as I am not a wizard. I am a captain and a sailor. So, that being said, I have faith in him, in his wizarding ways, but not necessarily in his loyalty.
Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch.
Well,
He likes to run away. Not nearly as much as Donnie, but that's okay.
Run away
That's true.
one time. One time.
That
That
He has a
was fucking
fondness for
owlbear.
dragons, by the way, which is a shame because then he and Petey would be friends.
Fucking Petey. You just hear that being whispered.
So,
fucking Petey.
other than having a fondness for being a coward and running away and smelling like shit, there really isn't
Fondness for
much
books.
else.
What am I on
Excellent.
trial here?
Oh, that's true. Yonner, I feel like we could just take this spell book and throw it right out the window. You know what I'm saying? Just throw this court case out the window. There's nothing going on here. Obviously, this wizard Emil has a case against us, and you can see it on his face. He's very frustrated that he thought he could just come in here and walk over us. Sheree, is there anything else that you would like to add?
I mean, I have questions about everything,
Well, I have
but
any
I'm on the stand, so it's not to be questioned.
That's right. So, well,
You just entered the
that
courtroom.
would be
I would
another
like to
trial
continue
for another
having
day,
him
I
as
suppose.
my apprentice. That would be fantastic. But I also, as Hagrin is my employee, I would like to see him to have closure with his mother's death, and I hope that we could come to an agreement or passing a justifiable non-death closure here.
Fair enough.
Hmm.
Barrick looks at you, Donnie, and says, "Well done. Do you have any further questions?"
Not for Sheree, Your Honor. I do have a question for the plaintiff. I was wondering if they'd be willing to settle outside of court.
You didn't ask that beforehand? Shit. Anyway,
Emil looks over.
I was wondering,
Not for murder.
would he like to see his dead wife again? No.
Oh, shit.
Just-
pretty sure you could do that as
Just
a
a thought.
Wait, are you talking to
actually.
Barrick or are you talking to Emil?
s-
I'm
Donnie.
fucked.
right. Barrick's the husband of the slain
No.
bartender.
No.
Is that correct?
No.
No.
Hagrin is the
Oh.
son of.
Son. Okay.
Hagrin is the son of
My bad.
Grista. So were you talking to Grista?
To Hagrid?
I guess. I was looking at the Grista's the wife of the slain bartender, correct?
No, Grista
is-
is
wasn't
the
sure who
slain
to settle
bartender.
Grista. So Hagrin.
Okay.
It,
The bar. Yeah.
Donnie, you are out of your element.
yeah, it's just like
I'm very much. No, my notes from last week weren't so hot.
Grista is
Some
the
type.
barmaid who
Those two
died.
scratched together. Okay, I had it backwards.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No worries.
So Hagrid's.
I raised my hand. Your Honor,
yes, I
can
was
you
just asking.
silence Donnie, please?
I'm doing a lot of talking tonight. Yeah.
It is true. So you're done questioning.
I'm
Sure.
done questioning. Yeah.
Okay. And Emil has nothing to ask you, Sheree. He clearly thinks that this is a farce. Doesn't understand why we'd be calling up his employer, who's obviously. He looks at the judge. Obviously, Your Honor, anything I ask her is going to be in favor for the defendant. I have
Not
no
necessarily
questions for her.
true, but okay, you lost out.
And Sheree, as you were heading back to the witnessing area or the viewing area, you see that there's now a half elf that's standing in the back of the room that wasn't there before. And he starts to walk forward and starts waving his hand. Says, "Excuse me, Your Honor.
No.
I wish to take the stand." And Bareg
That's
looks
not how
at
it
him,
works.
says, "Who are you?" And he looks at you, Taz, and says, "My name is Frederick." And Taz, roll perception for me, please.
Frederick, it's nice to see you again. But I can't perceive shit, apparently, tonight. Can I investigate him?
Donnie, you roll perception. Because yeah, he's actually looking at both of you. Oh, and you're still with that? Oh, I see you switched him around on me. You tried at least. Nice try.
Thanks, Kyle.
Any excuse to drop that
Perception.
anti-magic field.
No.
Oh my god.
That's
No.
your shit.
You go back into your trance and you're standing on the edge of the void where Cthulhu lives. Actually, Kaz, that's enough perception because it is you're making eye contact with this person who's trying to barge through the group.
Nope.
Wow, we suck tonight.
Danny, you're like sitting there just like petting
Petey.
Petey.
Hi, Petey. I loved you, puppies.
This half elf looks at you, Taz, and you see that pretty common looking half elf, pretty fair skin. He's tall, slender, short brown hair, pointy ears, just plainly dressed. There's
That's
nothing
the way I
really.
like my half elves.
There's nothing like really, flashy or nothing that really stands out. But when you lock eyes with him, you do see that his eyes are like an emerald green and look very reptilian and have slits instead of pupils. And Barg is demanding. He says, "Who are you again?" And he says, "My name is Frederick Vergas, and I know the defendant quite well. I've encountered him many times. I wish to attest on his behalf." Barg looks at you, Donnie, and says, "Do you accept this witness?"
So it's a gamble.
It is a gamble. Taz, roll insight.
What is that noise?
Is someone brushing their teeth?
Nope.
Nail file.
It's not me.
Nope.
That's what it is. It's her nail
No,
file.
I don't have nails.
She bites them all off.
I do. See?
Insight.
No nails.
That's true. All true. Insight. Taz, when you hear the name Frederick Vergast, something kind of sparks in your mind, and you look at the initials. FV, and then you put them backwards.
Ooh,
Doesn't ring any bells.
No.
Okay, that's fine. But you demanded to take the stand. Emil questions says, "How do you know the defendant?" It's just, again, he's like, "I've met him on the several adventures and trails. I've had brief encounters with him." He said, "Are you friends with this defendant? Or, what is your relation to him exactly?" What is that noise?
Oh,
What is that?
it's a pumice stone.
Is that you, Danny?
Yeah.
That.
No.
Yes, Donnie,
It's like-
I do know our friend VF here.
FV. Frederick.
Yes.
Vegas.
Frederick Vegas.
VF with the old dragon eyes, huh?
We are BFFs.
Hmm.
You should let him take the stand.
I think I will let this Frederick Vegas take the stand. He seems like he really wants to be up there.
Okay, and you see, so you tell Barig, please do. You see him take a very wide berth of the court of you, Taz, and Donnie, and he just sort of walks around the outside and comes. And Barig says, "Would you care to question this witness, or sir? What do you have to say, if anything, of importance?" And
Can I ask
Frederick.
my friends to leave? Because I don't want them to hear what Frederick has to say. Maybe Charray.
Which ones?
Charray. I would like Charray to leave. You can leave
Nope.
Petey.
No. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So, Frederick goes into this very long diatribe about encountering you. He met you in a small town far to the north. You were accompanied by a druid at the time.
Oh, yep.
And
This can either get really good or bad.
and so he starts telling you, he's like, it's sort of a 50-50 shot. He was impressed by your wizarding skills. He tells the judge and Emil that when he first encountered you, he first considered you a foe, but then considered you a worthy foe. You fought intelligently and bravely. You protected your group.
Can I tell Frederick that I consider him a friend now?
Not at this point, at this juncture. No, you at this point. You know, Taz, that you should probably just keep it zipped. Anything that you say should go through your attorney. Air quote. Are you coloring? What is that noise?
Can you?
Oh, it was Donnie. Was that you doing the?
I wish somebody would turn off their mics when they're doing that.
Is that what it is? Oh my god. Yeah, no, that's like nails on it. That's what it is. It was you. I've been on mute for some time.
Who, me?
God
Yeah.
damn it, Nicholas.
It was-
No. Just saying.
What is going on? Everybody show leave room for Jesus. Everybody show your hands. It's like church camp. Oh, I'm gonna kill
Danny.
one of you. It's gotta be Danny.
You sure your
No.
mics?
It has to be. It's not this guy. Nope. Nope. Okay.
Anyways, so he
so-
goes into this long
so
diatribe
it's
about this,
the,
all this. Now, Emil begins to walk toward him and says, "Sir, how exactly do you know the wizard here, the wizard Regranan?" And when you say he was your opponent, what sort of opponent was he? And he said, well, I had laid up in residence in a former wizard's tower and came into contact with the wizard. And at this point, Taz, roll percentile dice. Roll a D100.
How do I do that?
Go to the little dice emblem on the left.
Dice emblem, gotcha. And go down
Since this is
to
your trial, I'm going to
D100.
let you have a 50-50 shot of what happens next.
Oh, good. So just a D100?
Yep. We're looking for... There we go. Okay. I was going to say we don't want above 50, but
Oh, good. Good.
you got a 75. So as Emil begins to question him, you can see that Frederick Vergost is getting very sort of flustered. His eyes start to shimmer a little bit. The
Is Taz shackled?
paladin...
Is Taz shackled?
Yes, you are in shackles. What am I looking at? So like this, all I see. Weird. Oh, Donnie's not broadcasting.
I'm not.
Hmm.
That's weird.
He's broadcasting a black screen.
I was trying to fix that earlier. I couldn't figure it out.
Oh, well.
We'll
That's
go
okay.
with it after the.
I can upload later. But yes, Taz, you are shackled. You cannot climb on the desk. So you're watching this, and you can see that Frederick's getting very frustrated, and he's very visibly uncomfortable at all the questions that Emil is starting to raise towards him. And you can see Baurig is sort of leaning over very inquisitively across his desk down, looking at the defendant. And you, Kaz, know that there's some sort of charade going on here.
Oh, I know.
So I'll leave it to you. So you can see that Frederick is becoming upset. And at some point in the near future is probably going to undergo a change. I'll let you steer this, row your own canoe.
While they are distracted, I'm going to use my sleight of hand ability to slip my bonds.
Okay. You have sleight of hand?
But apparently I'm a loser and can't roll tonight.
You are still in your bonds, sir. So the kind of shackles that you are in, so they're bound at the wrists, attached to chains that are also bound at the ankles.
I had to step away for 1 minute. Sorry.
It keeps your the shackles are such that it keeps your hands below the desk, so that you can't actually make any sort of required gestures that you would need for a spell.
How's that for a spell for ya?
Well, right. How's that for Sheree, roll perception as well for me, please.
Okay.
I'd like to reiterate that my comrades might want to leave the room. If they're not standing in a anti-magic... Nope.
What am I? Perception?
So, yeah. So, do you say that, so you talk to them? Talk to them.
Me?
Yeah. So in character, like...
So I kind of casually turn around. I'm like, hey, Sheree, will you come over here for a second? I really have to talk to you. Leave Petey.
Okay.
Petey immediately like nuzzles in between, forces Hagrid over,
Hey, Gundren, will you gather around me for a minute?
Gundren kind of forces his way over.
We good. We good. Perfect. Who's Harbin? The town.
Hagrid.
Yeah,
That's Grista's son, who
Harbin
you've been friends with. Harbin
is the
Wester is
town.
the
Yeah,
town's
that's right.
master, aka mayor. Perception. Sheree, you see a little bit of what looks like a green liquid seeping at the corner of Frederick's mouth, and it's matching the emerald glowing green of his eyes as well.
I turn to Sheree and say, you might want to just stay close, and we'll see how this plays out. We'll see how
Gotcha.
this plays out. And be ready to run.
Okay.
So as they're continuing talking, you see Emil just begins pounding his fists on the wooden banister that's next to Frederick. And
Can I stop you for a second?
yeah,
So I kind of, lift my shackled hands up and give the thumbs up to my good old friend Frederick and say, hey, Frederick, this is the man who burnt your house down.
roll for not persuasion.
Deception?
Yeah. Yep.
Come on.
You can't roll for shit. But he's actually had it anyways, and so as you're sitting there, you see that he just polymorphs immediately into a giant green dragon that you know formerly as Venom Fang. And he just pops out of this half elf and
Pops out, as in like takes up the entire fucking space. We're all like,
Yeah.
oh shit,
How
that
big
guy.
is this thing gonna be?
Where's the squirrel? God damn it, where's the fucking squirrel?
where's the squirrel? That's coming. Oh shit. So there we go. So a green dragon taking up a 10-foot by 10-foot area immediately pops up and just lets out a roar. Just goes nuts. And as you know, dragons can't talk. Venom Fame looks over at you, Taz, and says, you fooled me once. Never again. Consider us equal. And bites Emil. And
What?
yeah. Bites Emil, and let's find out what he does.
I whisper to Charest and Donnie, fucking unhandcuff me now.
So
We
what's
gotta
going
go.
on is, so here's the situation. So Donnie, you see this thing, like you're probably sitting in some sort of trance with Cthulhu again, and
Does nobody
dragon,
unhandcuff me?
Right.
dragon, just splinters just fly out. The walls are being thrashed by a tail. Emil takes 36 points of damage from
Venom
Frederick,
Fang.
aka Venom Fang's bite. He then claws him and does an additional 15 damage. And then you see Venom Fang sort of puffs out his chest and his shoulder blades come back, and he inhales this very deep breath that like his scales are almost
Blistering out.
pulling apart. And he lets loose this giant exhalation of poisonous gas. And let's see. Although he's aiming it that way. So, Constitution is taking, and Emil takes another 42 points of damage, which brings Emil to. There he is. Let's see, what do I have here? I got 7, 13, carry the 1, 4, 93 points of damage to Emil, and he's still standing.
Holy fuck.
I told you.
Nice.
So at this
Wow.
point, Sheree, you see this as well. Obviously, this is going on. I'm assuming you're probably, like, actually, as you're standing there, Petey jumps into your arms and begins whimpering.
I
And
look back at Petey and say, "Man, you are a bitch."
Petey looks at you and goes, "Fuck off!" and starts trying to get over the railing towards you. Kaz, you see something amiss with Emil. Like he's obviously dripping in poisonous breath from this giant green dragon, but it's like peeling away. If you can picture, like there's a layer underneath him that's being revealed. Roll initiative.
Can somebody please unshackle me? Anybody? Compatriots that are listening?
Can we do that? Or is that spell cube like keep us from getting in there?
Oh, he is
No, it's
totally
physical.
distracted.
I
too.
would like to investigate.
Oh, well, that's the other thing. So that spell required concentration. He's not concentrating anymore. So spell shield down.
Oh,
And-
cool.
Pal,
I'm
20.
not sure whose turn it is, but when I have a turn, Kyle, I'll think about unshackling you.
Let's see. Add a turn, and I'll add a turn to you, and let's see. Add a turn, Sheree. Roll. You roll the 8. Donnie, roll initiative for me, please. Kaz, you got 20. Donnie, you got nothing yet. And
It's a coming.
okay. Emil is rolling for initiative. But can he? Yes, he can. How do I do that?
Got 4.
4. That's okay. Emil got 14. Donnie got 4. Okay. And we're going to give a good old Venom Fang here a turn. He's
that
going to
dragon.
roll initiative. And he got a 2. Whew.
Oh, he just went anyways.
Yep. Okay, so Taz, you're up.
Still shackled.
Still shackled.
Can I am I able to stand?
Yes, you can't stand, but it's sort of you're huddled. It's a short chain between your wrists and your feet, so you're kind of huddled over a little bit.
So I kind of get up on the
Sheree,
desk.
Sheree, you're on the other side of a banister that runs the length dividing the court. You're directly opposite Taz. Petey is in front of you between the banister and yourself, and he's trying to get over the banister towards Taz because he's aggravated. Donnie, you're
Don't make me kill your
I don't know
dog.
what you're doing. On the edge of oblivion, staring into the void.
Yeah, I'm coming back to it, but it's not my turn, so I'm
Okay.
just gonna be bedazzled for the time being, I imagine.
Of course you are. Of course you are. Well, can I cast Magic Missile?
What does it require? Link it.
Can you fire it out of your butt?
Spells. Let's see. Magic Missile. No. Hold on.
Sheree, in the meantime, how are you reacting to all of this?
So there's a dragon, and then there's a wizard melting.
It only let me cast
Yes.
it. I can't.
I am trying to pay attention probably to the wizard melting to see what that's all about. Because the dragon we dealt with, we almost killed him. I feel pretty confident that we can take him down. Or at least I can take him down. I'm confused as to what's happening and why this is happening in the courtroom.
Because you weren't paying attention.
So Venom Fang. Well, we'll get there afterwards. I'll explain it fully
We
after
are
we're done here.
BFFs. You create 3
Right
glowing
now,
darts.
you know that half elf came
I'm
in
aware
and
why
turned.
they're happy with this, but why are they doing this in the courtroom?
We'll get there.
It doesn't say anything that I have to have my hands free to cast.
What it should say like
It
VSM.
says VS.
VS, so verbal and semantic. So it takes some.
Oh,
So in order to
hand
cast a
gesture.
spell, you have to say it, and you need a hand gesture.
Oh, okay, fine.
You can still move your hands; they're just shackled.
Hmm.
So you can
You gonna fire it backwards?
kamehameha. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'll match
Wait, I
it.
thought he was shackled like one hand to the foot and one hand to the other
No,
foot.
No, that
that's-
was one of the options.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So wait, who you?
Emil. Fuck that
Oh.
guy.
Emil falls dead.
The one I. Well, I guess you don't really get to investigate that guy, do you?
Fuck that guy. He wanted me dead for murder.
So as soon as he falls dead, Venom Fang sort of thrashes about a little bit, and then punches a hole through the ceiling and jumps and flies off. Fuck, you killed him already.
Can
So
somebody please fucking untie me?
you're still
No, it's for fun this way for everybody else.
hobbling
fun.
around.
So can I use suggestion on the on
Nope,
the judge?
you already used your turn. Emil is dead. Sheree, you're up. So dragon gone. Emil flat on the floor,
Dead.
dead.
Emil is dead. Dragon is gone.
Who
Yep.
are we fighting?
So what's going on? Why? I mean, it sounds
It's
like
just
nothing's
chaos at
happening
this point.
anymore.
So, well, I'm just like, do you respond? Do you do anything? Do you just kind of
Try to
stand
make
there
it-
taking it all in?
I guess I'm just standing there taking it all in. I mean, the dragon left.
Somebody untie
Right?
the fucking
The
wizard.
wizard is gone. You are still under trial. Are we no longer under trial?
So you see Barig peek up from above his desk and look around. He sees that Emil is dead on the floor. The acid from Venom Fang's breath is still eating away at this outer layer. This starting to reveal what looks like a different person underneath it.
I think so. Then I'm gonna go and investigate.
Investigate away. So, Sheree, do you just what do
No. There's a purpose for it.
you just walk by
Walk
You
by
just-
what?
the wizard? Taz, do you just walk by him? Just ignore him?
He's not in fucking danger.
Okay. So, as you Sheree, you kneel down next to Emil, and you can see that there's sort of what looks like a mask that's over this face, and you see like makeup and different garments underneath it.
Reggie.
So then I
We
feel
have
him
become
away.
a fucking
I'll pour
Scooby-Doo.
water on his face to wash it away.
Okay. So you remove it, and you see this semblance. You see Sildar immediately runs forward next to you, shocked. It says, "This is the wizard." To you, and he's just very confused.
It was
Wow.
a
Which wizard? Which wizard, Sildar?
The wizard that was a
Wizard.
part of the Lord's Alliance that I came here to find, that we found out was Glassstaff. This is Glassstaff. This is Iarno Albrecht.
Yarno
Sir
Albrecht.
Glass.
That guy.
Mm-hmm.
We used to be BFFs.
No, you never knew him. This was Glassstaff. This was the guy that escaped
know.
out of Red Brand Hideout.
I know.
Okay. So he's explaining that to you, Sheree. Barig looks down and is vastly confused by this.
I
and
raised my hands, and Your Honor, I moved for a
Fucking
mistrial on
this.
grounds of dragon. Of dragon rape. Obviously, this guy is trying to frame me.
Barig looks at you and says, "These are very strange proceedings. I've never had a court case like this, and I've been around for a long time, more than you'll ever live in your human life." And he says, "We had witnesses that saw your spell book link to the spot where Grissa died. I can't prove it, but you're still going to receive a penalty." And he begins shuffling through his papers.
I cast suggestion on Barig.
It doesn't work.
Bullshit. You didn't even let me roll.
It doesn't work. I can tell you, just don't fuck with the paladin.
Fine. I cast suggestion on Hagrid.
You may.
Do I get a roll?
Sure.
What do you want me to roll?
Well, what's your spell? Just wait. Whether you will see.
What are you trying to suggest?
Oh, you'll see.
That crazy wizard.
Let him out, and all of a sudden, here we go.
You
No
bitches tried to
lessons
kill
learned.
me. You bitches tried to kill me.
I did not
Suggestion.
try to, nobody tried to kill you.
Nobody's tried to kill you. Concentration of the
Subtle.
activity. Okay, 30 minutes. Oh, that's right. He has to roll. Good thing that I actually. It's a Constitution Wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
You do remember that this is the assassin.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
The big badass assassin.
Let's see.
Fuck.
Does that beat it?
Yes.
He feels a little tingling magic behind the ear a little bit, and he sees red and looks at you. Jaw clenched, fists balled.
Troublemaker.
You want to keep going?
Not this turn.
Hagrid immediately just immediately interrupts you. He says, "You're still on trial," and he tells you, Taz, that you will face a fine of 3,000 gold pieces. You will spend 2 months in the town of Phandalin providing free magical services of any community member that requests it of you. And you will spend 40 hours of community service for 2 weeks doing whatever anyone asks of you in the town. And that you will work for free for Hagrid as his understudy for 1 year.
Understudy?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the understudy to the...
advantageous.
You're pretty
Apprentice.
much.
He's an
You're
assassin, by the way.
the understudy of, well,
I'm the intern to the intern.
The intern is an intern to the hireling.
the intern is, yes. Precisely. And
I demand trial by
Barig is
combat.
very clear.
Or imprisonment for years.
I demand trial by combat.
Or imprisonment for years. Barig looks at you and says, "You're more than welcome to a trial by combat. That is your right. since your accuser is now dead, you will duel me.
I demand my champion.
You will have no champion in this case since you already have the intervention of a green dragon who had polymorphed himself to look like a half elf
Hey,
on your
that wasn't my
behalf.
doing. What level
That
is
is neither here nor there nor provable within this court.
what level is Bargain? Bagran?
Barrig?
Barrig.
Barrig is a level 8 paladin.
I still demand a champion. Hagrin. I demand.
Hagrid refuses.
Sure.
Well, actually, Sheree, Danny,
Don't look at me.
it's your Hagrid is yours. I'll let you do the decision making for Hagrid.
No, judge said no champion. You have to fight your own battle this time around. We have fought many battles together and for you and for me, but this time around you must prove your innocence.
I use suggestion on Danny.
Nope. Shall we?
How many
will not
times can you
forget-
cast suggestion?
Twice.
He hasn't even rolled.
No, you have to roll against his wisdom.
Why do I have to roll against?
Because I'm
how
casting
his
the
spell
spell
works.
on you.
So when
has
he
his
casts
wisdom? What?
suggestion, you have to roll against his spell save DC, which is
Okay, with
wisdom. So just under saving throws, click
Yep.
wisdom on your
Beat it two.
character
Come
sheet.
on, beat it two.
Oh, and Venom Fang is now gone.
I love that dragon.
That is not the end of Venom Fang. Frederick Vergost.
Thank you, Danny.
Shit.
I would like you to order Hagrin to fight
I thought you already
Varrig.
said no, that he couldn't do that.
No, yeah, the judge is not gonna let you do it. Judge says, take the punishment. I'm letting you off light. Or you can duel me. And he picks up this very ornate true silvered and gold warhammer.
So if I fight him and I die,
Anytime.
am I dead?
It depends on how many points damage he does. And Petey's like panting, going, fight him!
You can
Fight him!
hit you into the underworld.
Petey is shouting from behind the rail, you pussy! Do it!
Well, I don't have 3,000 gold, and I don't want to give up
3,000.
3,000 gold, and I don't want to give up a year.
You have 3,000 gold that you have to pay.
A year to Hagrid, who I thought was your
One
friend, but apparently
one
not.
year of service.
To the town.
Hagrid.
Hagrid.
I told you I was going to say Hagrid.
That was fine.
1 year service.
Oh,
to
wizard
Hagrid.
Taz.
You have 1 year service to Hagrid. You have 1 year service of doing any magical requirements to the town, and then what did it?
So
Months
does this,
of community service.
what does that mean for Taz? Does that mean he's stuck doing this stuff while adventure's
No.
gone?
Just anytime you're in
He's on
town.
adventure.
Oh.
So you're still in the employ of the Merry Marauders LLC. But anytime you're in town, if somebody comes up to you and says, I need a fireball to cast on my crops to reset the season, stuff like that.
I don't fucking cast a fireball. on
I
somebody.
have a bunch of rodents cast magic missile at them. So essentially, you're every time you're in town, you're basically expending all your spell slots every day.
I'm the town's bitch.
Yes.
While you're in town.
While you're in town. So 3,000 gold, 1 year service to Hagrid, which means you have to do whatever he asks. Which I will leave that up to you Sheree,
So
aka
I demand trial
Danny.
by combat.
What happens if you die,
Can-
Kyle?
Then all my goods go to my son.
Makes a new character.
Then all my goods go to my son, who is as much as a
Okay.
dick
Can
as I
I
am.
interject?
Yep. By all means.
You could just leave him in the brig
Oh,
for a
really?
few months instead.
So am I untied?
No.
I have to be
Uh,
I
untied.
has idea.
If you are requiring, if you're demanding trial by combat, which is your right, you will be untied.
Okay.
You're a fucking
Untie me.
idiot.
How many spell slots have you expended so far? 2?
I demand a rest.
Nope.
Nope.
So you've expended 2 spell slots.
As soon as they
Okay.
untie Taz, I immediately run out of the courtroom, hop on the nearest horse, and ride into the sunset.
As
Flipping
soon
off
as you begin running,
Bergen.
Petey runs after you. Roll
Dogs are fast.
roll
Dogs are really fast.
strength check versus Petey's.
God, I hate that dog.
Told you I love this fucking dog.
You're a dick.
I
Best
know.
dog
that's
ever.
because quit being a dick, Kyle, and this wouldn't be a problem.
Okay, so we're doing.
Strength.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Petey's gonna have advantage because you're running.
Ah!
With his back to you. Or with your back to him. He rolls 21. He crits. So you
Oh,
are knocked
shit.
prone. You rolled a 1. Holy shit! You are knocked to the floor and are now unconscious. Your head hit with a bang. You're out and down for the count.
Oh god.
When you wake up, you're
Does that mean
back
it's my
in your
turn?
cell and shackled.
So does that count as a long rest?
No, no. It's like, I mean, you black out. It's like a couple
See,
minutes. Like
dogs
they just
love
go to
you.
shackle.
Look at that, Kyle. Doggies love you.
And it's when you wake up and you see stars
I
for a
find it
minute.
convenient that your puppy dog is kissing your ass right now when you
And
got knocked out by Petey.
You sit up and you see Petey standing in front of the cell.
She knows.
I cast magic missile on Petey.
You're back in the anti-magic zone, and there's a young wizard sitting there in front of
So
Your dog Petey loves you. Look at that. He loves you.
you. That's
I still demand trial by combat.
still fantastic. The judge walks down the stairs with Donnie and Sheree. You're flanking him on either side. He's talking to you, and he asks you, "Do you think you can control this wizard?" I'm gonna let him off. All he has to do is pay the fines and do his community service. Can you
Never.
keep this wizard in line?
No, actually, we cannot keep him in line.
Who's he talking to?
He has a tendency to do whatever the fuck he wants whenever he wants, which is the problem that we are
So-
trying to address.
So Donnie is talking to you and Sheree as the three of you are walking down to the cell beneath the town hall that is now sort of missing one wall and a large section of the roof. He taps on another 2,000 gold for the damage repairs for your fines.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Taz.
5,000 gold.
Cthulhu, can you just quit?
Fine. I accept my punishment, but I know secretly I'm never going to pay them a gold piece.
Well, your pay comes from your boss. So, as you're walking, Sheree, Barig looks at you and says, "We'll send you an invoice
Okay.
once per cycle. And any of his pay, just go ahead and send it to us." And
Call
then,
bullshit.
There's lessons to be learned in Dungeons and Dragons, Kyle. You can't just
So $5,000.
kill the innocent. 5,000.
5,000.
gold.
All right, I gotta write that down now. Thanks.
5,000 gold, 1 year service to Hagrid. Sheree, you'll decide how Hagrid, what he requests of Taz. And Barig hands you, Sheree, a handful of scrolls and says, these are anti-magic zones. Please give these to Hagrid if he needs them. And Petey looks over and says, I want one.
You don't have hands, dick.
Yeah, fuck you. I can read.
I look at Petey, I'm like, Petey, you're going to be fixed.
Yeah,
Go ahead and try it.
Sorry.
You have to sleep sometime, dog.
He goes back into the statue, dude. He goes back into the statue.
Sleight
He's
of
only out
hands,
for 6-hour periods per day.
Sleight of hands, toss into the river. Bye-bye, Petunia. I actually tell Petey that. I tell Petey, you have to sleep sometime. And when you're asleep, you are going back into the water, Petunia.
That's a good question. Sheree, where do you keep Petey when he's in figurine form?
Oh, that's none of Taz's business.
God damn it.
Keistered.
Smart. He's a smart girl.
That's awesome. Okay, so yeah, you'll 5,000 gold. You'll have 1 year service to Hagrid, 1 year magical requirements, and you'll do 4 months of community service, which will include repairing the roof and the walls, aiding in the local with the local smiths, and
Do I at least get to learn smithing while I'm at this?
May I suggest,
carpentry.
dear judge, that we put a spell on Taz that he is incapable of ever running
Ooh.
until he pays his dues.
Is there like a short leash spell?
I demand trial by combat again.
So we can traverse, we can maraud, we can do our business for however long it takes.
So do you want like a short leash?
Until he cannot run.
What the fuck?
So
So
Danny.
he can
Hold on.
go with us and do our thing wherever
Uh-huh.
we go for however long. But if he on his own consciousness decides to take off on us or the town, he cannot. He will wake up the next day automatically within the town of Paladin.
So you like Groundhog Days himself?
Yes. Yes.
You guys think I learn anything from anything?
Nope.
This isn't
You're
gonna
be
work.
fine if you decide to run. Because you're just going
Um,
to keep waking up in the same town, having to do the same field over and over until you learn your lesson.
That's the problem.
Well-
That's eternity there, guys.
Okay. Here's
Dear
Harig
Judge,
looks at you and he starts digging in. He has a small, several leather pouches on his belt, and he pulls out 2 matching bracelets that are made of white gold, and you see several runes that are inscribed on them.
you can't break it off.
He hands one to you, Sheree,
Okay.
and says, "This is the master.
Okay.
Wear this." And he pulls out a ring of keys and unlocks Taz's cell, walks in.
As he walks in, I punch him 2-fisted in the face.
You're
Shackled-
on the ground.
I'm not shackled to the ground, though, am I?
No, you're on the ground. You're on the ground. Like, so the chain is like that short.
As he gets close, I do. I don't know.
He strong arms one of your fists, and you just feel this like iron grip, and comforts your hand.
I flip
and
him
he
off. With
Takes
my,
the
with
other.
my free hands.
He just looks at you and grins, and then just spits in your face. As he
I
slaps,
spit back.
It's a little excessive.
I spit back.
He wipes his face and then just wipes it on his
Scares it on
plate
you.
mail.
I just
but
look
he
at him and like I
slapped,
say, you're used to doing a snowball
the
from a
other
wizard.
bracelet on your wrist, Taz, and he looks at you, Sheree, and says, "This is the catcher."
I look at him and I say, I'm gonna find you and I am going to kill you.
He just
That is a threat against an official. Do you want more time? Kyle?
uh, and then he does this sort of hearty laugh at you, and then you take 2 bludgeoning damage from him kicking you in the ribs.
I look at him and say, you kick like a pussy.
Uh, where'd he go? Petey starts growling at you.
I look over to Petey and I'm like, Petey, Petey, I didn't know this guy's your bitch. Your bitch is trying to kick me.
Are you determined to die?
I think so. I think we should just not have Kyle play with this anymore. I think he just wants to die and give up.
Oh.
I'll just re-roll.
Uh,
I'll just be the biggest asshole ever.
Petey just sort of chuckles at you as well. So you got the matcher and catcher. Barig explains that the bracelets, if he moves a certain distance, up to a half a mile away from you, Sheree.
So these magic amulets, you say?
Yes.
Oh, good. Good. Because nobody will be casting anti-magic field on me for being an asshole for anything.
See point. Well, they act of their own accord.
Oh.
They're indimensional.
Read anti-magic field, buddy.
It's from another plane of existence. But when he gets up to a distance of 0.5 miles away from you, it's like a rubber band. He's immediately just sucked back to your side within 5 feet of you.
Oh, shit. I don't know if I want him that close, but all right.
Well, that's just the recoil distance that he comes to. So he doesn't knock into you. He just shows up within 5 feet of you.
That's
Distance.
disturbing. But okay,
I can
please
use
do
that
not
to my
do that
advantage.
when I'm in the middle of having sex with somebody at my tavern, okay? Because that would be so awkward.
Running
If we're
five-
just
runs
I'm
half a
riding
mile
somebody
outside
hard
of
and
town.
suddenly you're there, I'll be like, you motherfucker. God damn it.
Sure, I'm gonna do that every time you're in the
I
shower.
don't always think out my spells, but that one was a good one.